สวัสดีครับ This is Jeff Pan. We meet again. Today I will try. Today is the lecture begin. So first of all, I will talk about the first the first the first one of the series is about Thai cuisine. So I will get you have to get to know a little bit of Thai nations and then regional food and establishment of Thai food and its endowments. Are you ready? Here we go. So about Thai cuisine, that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. Now, this is the requirement to know Thailand. Just in case people don't know Thailand. A lot of people that come to my restaurant say, "Oh, yeah, we heard about Thailand, and okay, where is it?" So they not even know where it is. So we are in Southeast Asia. So this is Thailand in the yellow. See that we have Burma, now you call Myanmar. Then we have Laos. You have Cambodia. Then you have Malaysia down south, Indonesia and Vietnam. This is Southeast Asia. Thailand pretty much the center of Southeast Asia. So we pretty much have everything of what everybody needs. If you go to Cambodia, Laos, Burma, you see a lot of food from Thailand flood in this area because if make in Thailand, they say, "Oh yeah, it's a good one," so they will buy most likely. And then from Malaysia, pretty much the same. People from Malaysia come to Thailand, they buy things and bring it back. So the same everywhere in around Thailand. So Thailand have the good agriculture products and good tuning equipment, and still, again, we import from a lot of places, like from the Europe and Japan and all these places, because Thailand is the place to do the investment, because Thailand have infrastructure and have good technicians, and then have the equipment, and we pretty much what we have a good thing going, like we have food, vegetable. Then we have beautiful beaches. You get a lot of beautiful temples, some yellow palace, and food. Then you have the dance and tradition dance, the culture dance, all kind of things. Then you have this is art. This is made from candle. Then they make it out of it every year. They have to do that at the Ork Pansa, when the Lent in. And they know how to craft the food. This is my sister that worked for the, first class hotel in Pattaya, Royal Cliff Beach Hotel. She do all this crafting. That was her job, specialty at this point. The Thai culture have a lot of things offer. We have food, we have meeting, we have all kind of things, and then we have the sex industry, and then you have scuba diving, and then you still have maintain the tradition that people give food to the monk, to gain the marriage. You see that every morning wherever you go. So it's quite interesting place if you travel to Thailand. Thailand is the kingdom, monarchy democracy, because Thailand have king and queen. And this is a latest king that all this King Rama IX, the Queen, so he passed away. So Thailand have 3 institutions that you have to pay respect. One of them, the nations, the religions, and the monarchy. So whatever you do, be respectful and be careful who you talking to, because if you try to insult the monarchy in front of the people, if they pretty much don't like it, and then they will try to collect you, and then you still stubborn, for it, get into the fight with you. So, like it means don't try to insult them or don't try to talk bad about it. Better up not talk about it. You know, most of the time prefer not to talk about it in the bad way. The good way they will talk to you, the bad way they don't, especially the monarchy, even though the legion or the nations. So now you see Thailand is have 781 years. You know, we've been there a long time. I mean, as twice as long as US. And we started from 1238, it's Sukhothai period, and then you come to the mid-century, that Ayutthaya period that we have got a fight with Burma, all kind of thing. And then the 16th century, we become Siam. That's the beginning of Thailand, that's the beginning of the monarchies. So until 1939, it changed the name to Thailand. Thailand has 62 ethnic groups. You know, not just only, oh, the Thai, that, they're all Thai, but they are different background and they come from different parts of Asia and they're here. They live here. You got Chinese, you got, you know, the Hill tribe people, the Hmong, the Hmong, you still all kind of things, the people that come here because Thailand welcome everybody if you behave. So we have the, you know, the culture, the tradition, the spirit, and the big city. The big city, that means we have the best of the best from everywhere in the world. So if you have the Microsoft out today, tomorrow we have it in Thailand. So how fast is it? How quick is it? Because it's just pretty much, you know, the Thai people grab everything everywhere in the world and use it to their advantage. And then the biggest thing in Thailand, food. Everywhere you go, you see the food. And the food in Thailand is phenomenal. It takes you probably a good lifetime to eat every food from every part of Thailand. So we will see why I'm saying later. So now, you know, when you go to Thailand, this is just to be recognition, it's a symbolic of Thailand. So try not to insult because it can cause you a problem. So if you see this is an official stamp. You know, if you're going to do anything with the government, you have the official stamp on the top of the paper. And if you have this one, you know, it can be good or can be bad. If you misbehave or did something try to corrupt it or try to, you know, ruining the country. So you got the letter from this, and that's what they will call you in and collected you. And if you still misbehave, they jail you, they fine you. So, and then tell you not to do again. If you do it again, now they jail you. And then you have the, you know, this is the head of the Buddhists. So every you know, every king, you know, every king in Thailand, that we have the monk that they respect, and they will work with them side by side. This is the head of the monk. So it will do a lot of controlling to the monk behavior, those kind of thing, the religion behavior. That is the big. And then you have country, you have the flags, and then you have, this is a Thai flag, this is a religion flags, and then the king and the queen flag. You see all the symbol everywhere in Thailand. Usually this is on the flag. So, and then this is the Jackie Dynasty. This is King Rama X at this point. So, and it had about 230 years from right now for the Jackie Dynasty. Just to let you know. So this is the latest king that we did. He just become gaining the popularity like his father because he go around to every place in Thailand to meet their people and have a lot of demonstration from the red church, still try to discredit him, and then he come out and then he give the interview to one of the surprise I think CNN, BBC, CNN, I think, and then asked him about, are you divided? He said no. He said that he loved them all, all the Thai people. And everywhere you go, you see the chanting Song Prat Tayalan, Song Prat Jalan. I mean, long live the king. So pretty much he working, according to the Thai tradition and follow his father's step. Now he become popular, like almost become popular like his father. And then that what he said it. Thailand is the land of the compromise. It's so true. So Thai politics, we compromise, of course. So, you have to, these are the people who admire the king. These are the people who want to get rid of the king and dragging the other outsider to be involved, like the Chinese, all the political from outside world. You see we didn't see the U.S. flag, we didn't see the German flag. We see many kind of flag. They come into demonstration to try to, get rid of the monarchy, but they did not successful because the Thai people don't buy it. Most Thai people didn't like, didn't want to change because we've been without a king institution, will we never be Thailand, and the people don't go by it. So that is the politics of Thai. We always compromise, and then now we have really, really good, successful COVID management because every part, every institution, everybody pay part of it, respect, pay part of it, take charge, and then make the country forward. Now, we don't have vaccine, but we know how to manage. The WHO, the World Health Organization, it give us the number one to know how to manage. We rank number one. Before it was Australia, and now the Thai. And we've been in the Thai for several months now. And the WHO used the Thai model to educate people around the world to follow the Thai model to manage the COVID. But they didn't successful in the U.S. because the U.S. doesn't seem to, a lot of people so powerful didn't listen. And that's what happened. So we are the world famous, you believe it or not, because Thailand is the Thai smile. Everybody smile when you see them. They don't know you, they giggle, they smile. And sometimes, they're going to fight with you, they still smile. You don't know what that's smiling, but you can hear by the tone. To be careful. The Thai smile not just smile for peaceful or can be smile threatening, because you have to listen to the tone of voice. If they're angry, they will tell you, or they will raise the voice and the tone change. Just back off. Don't bother with them. You're not going to win. Because if they lose today, they will bring more people and come in and beat you up if you try to beat them up. So literally, they're not afraid of you. We have, beautiful beach everywhere you go. You have two different ocean. You literally not. We don't have ocean. We can, the Thai Bay, it's connected Pacific Ocean, and then you have the Andaman Sea. So you got the best of the best. You got especially scuba diving in the beach. Everywhere you go in Thailand, it's beautiful. Then you have the beauty contest. It's Miss Universe ranked 1 out of 10. Thai people will be there. And we won twice, I think. And then you see a lot of kickboxing. The Thai kickboxing, this is a national sport. And the Thai people know how to fight, especially the boy, because when you were young, they will make you fight with the people the same age as you. If you, have a fight about each other, they give you your boxing club, and then you fight. And then they say until you stop, and then after that you become the friend after you fight. That's how it pretty much works. And then we have food. Food is everywhere. Every part of the world. We just Thailand have really a lot of, we have a regional food. We will talk about it. We will go in depth on that. And then we have the beautiful culture because we pay respect. We do all kinds of things. We can do, if you're young, you have to pay respect, you know, be respectful to the old people. If people talk bullshit, you don't just say, "Oh yeah, that bullshit." You have to just and then you walk away. You don't believe it. Then you go around till you feel okay, this guy bullshit. So you don't say bullshit in front of them. So because you're younger than them, you just keep on smile and giggle. Pretty much that's how we do them. So to balance it out, you have to let the old people talk, and then if you try to contradict them, then they get mad. Then it doesn't make you look good. So anyway, the Thai have unique way to the way of life. So sometimes you think they look it goofy. Sometimes it looks so sophisticated. And some rich people that just want to put something upon you. To, oh, I have this Gucci bag. You can they will try everything, but mostly if you go out of the country, you know, on the countryside, you see a real simple Thai. You will like that. You will appreciate it because they're friendly. And then you know, the Thai, the beauty pageant, the sex industry. That's what I want to talk about. The sex industry in Thailand is everywhere, and be respectful to those people. You try to cross their line. Those kind of things. To be specific. So no, thank you. I don't want it. Just to be specific. So sometimes you ambiguous or in between or whatever it is, and if you don't say that, oh no, I don't want it, that kind of thing, and then they will try to come and try to nag you, and then it sometimes becomes a fight. They get nasty, you get nasty, and they are nastier, and then not fun. So because these people, they work, they want the money, they want to do things, but you know, just be respectful. You don't like to walk away. That's all you do. And then the COVID management, you just follow the Thai model. They will, when you go to the country, they will ask you what to do. You just do it. Don't just say, oh, you have to wear the mask. No, I don't want to wear it. Don't do that. You don't do that in Thailand because a lot of people will look at you and then they will call the police. The police will come and get you. And they will make you wear it. So that you have to be respectful. So Thailand have religion. This is about not just Catholic, not just we have about 93% Buddhism, and you got Muslim. You got about, you know, it's Islamic. You know, Muslim is about 5% allow Thailand, especially in down south, right next to Malaysia, because they are all the Muslim. That you see a lot of beautiful mosques like this. It's everywhere down south. Then you have the Christianity. That the Catholic pretty much. They have the church, they have school, they have a lot of Catholic school in Thailand. So that what they teach, you know, in English most of the time. Now it have international students. Now we have international school everywhere now. Most of the Thai in Bangkok speak English. So and then you have the Sikh, the Hindu temple. Look at it. That's a lot of solo religion that come from every part, like Tao, like Shinto, like all these things. They will have some temples, something in Thailand that they go dependent on ethnic, because we have Japanese, we have Chinese, we have you know, Cambodia, Laos. This everybody want to live in Thailand because Thailand is easy and the economy is good and people is friendly. And then you have another group that these people that still exist, many groups, but they live in the forest. So they don't have religion. They believe in God, and they stay among themselves. They speak their language. But now they register the title. But I don't know if they have Thai ID or not, but they identify the Thai. So there are many groups in Thailand. So, you know, we have religion. We have many religions, so that we can get along pretty well, not because of the Buddhism dominated, because we, get along. We learn to get along. We learn that when we very young, and the culture define you on that too. So, and then tradition is implemented. So that's why it sticks with you wherever you go. So the culture different that we avoid the conflict if you go there, you travel there. One thing that you don't do, if you don't respect whatever people do, whatever they do, or whatever you don't think it, oh, that's not how we do it. It's supposed to be that way. No, don't respect, don't insult. You see, like this woman, she put the money in her hand and pray because she's going to donate that money to the temple. And then she prayed that if she give 100 baht, that's about $3. Then she make merry, and then the next life she got have luck and she gain more, like 1,000 or whatever that they believe that what they praise. And this is a charm that wherever you go, you see every household have it, because it have the goat spirit and have the God spirit. So be respectful. Don't put your shoe in, put your feet in there. Try to take the picture with. Don't put your finger, your hand to try to grab something inside the child. If people see that to you, that's a big insult. They either try to beat you up or call the police. Those kind of things, because that is a sacred thing for them. Okay, that's the Thai tradition, the custom that they follow one line after another. So just remember the majesty law is very, very strong in Thailand, very powerful, still powerful. You see, this guy, this is Frank. I think they from European, I don't remember Sweden or somebody there. That what he does is he used a black spray on the, the king tribe, that every country, not the place for people pay respect. Every the official government, when you walk in, you will see people put the hand together and go like that, those kind of thing. This guy spray with the spray paint black, and then he get arrested, and the judge sentenced him for 40 years, but he got 20 year deductions. And this is when he get in. This is when he get out 15 years later, just because he insulted the king and bad mouth and spray on it. You can't insult the monarchy, and if you did, that's what happened. Okay, and then the shoe, the Thai culture, the shoe, the feet is the lowest thing of your body, and the shoe, when you go in any place like the temple, inside the temple, people house, we take the shoe out. Just if you go to people house, some people house you can walk in, like people like me, because I live in the U.S. for a long time. So in my house, I carry my shoe in. If I go to my sister's house, I take my shoe out. So that's the difference. And this is another thing. The head is the highest thing. You don't touch Thai people head, or you slap Thai people. You get fight real bad, because that's the biggest insult. And this guy that insult this guy that's standing. And then when this guy pressing the charge, and this guy don't want to fight with it, he have to come in and bow his head like to where his feet is, and to get apologize from him. He apologize and get forgiving from him. That will stop, the political fighting or whatever it is. That is the biggest thing that you can do if somebody really so mad at you and you did the biggest mistake. This is what we do. How to, stop everything. And then, Thai is, you think Thai people, it is pretty, very gay too. Because you have, gay men, in between men, and then you have drag queen. This is very popular. You have drag queen and transvestites. So you will see a lot of beautiful people, sometimes thinking they're women, but they're transvestite. They're born as a man. This is everywhere in the world. We work in the, industry, sex industry, they work in the show industry, they work in the government, they do all kinds of things. They dress like a woman. And just be aware of it. And then a lot of people go to Thailand, oh, I see a lot of drag queens. But it's true, because now you see them 100 years ago, you don't see them, but they're there because they never come out and expose themselves, showing up who I am. But now, because it's free, they come out and nobody bother them. So this is another thing that foreigner did, is the second place here. What he does, this is American gay couple. What he does, he take his pants off and then hold hand and take picture. And people see it, and then they report to the police. It take about good 10 minutes. Come in, arrest them, take to the police station, find them, and kick them out 24 hours out of the country, and ban them for good. So to be aware, this is all the sacred place in Thailand. Many of them don't do that. All the time you have to wear. You cannot wear tank top. You have to wear, cover long sleeve. You cannot wear short, those kind of thing, especially in royal palace. This is like opposite the river from this one. So, and a lot of people see this. They say, oh yeah, child abuse, but this is sport. You will see all these kids practicing fighting. That the way of life. That's what you do. Because when we were young, we always been taught how to fight. And political, that's the biggest thing. If you don't know anything about Thai politics, don't talk about it. Because you have so many people. They're not just Republican and Democrat. They have red shirt, yellow shirt, blue shirt, pink shirt, all kinds of shirts. They all belong to one of the group of the political. And if they don't like the way you talk to their party, they will try to get a fight with you. I give you an example. They have the young couple, the European. They take the taxi from some place, and then they're talking to the driver, and somehow they bad talk about the red shirt, and the driver in the red shirt, and he getting mad. He should drop him, he should drop these people off on the freeway. Be careful with that, because when they go to that far, that's what you get. So better not to talk about it, the politics in Thailand. You don't know who they are. So the famous Thai cuisine, Thailand have regional food. This is a lot of people don't know. Thailand have regional food. Because the Thai food is pretty much this is geography of Thailand. If you talk about food, you have 5 or 6 regions. You have the northern part, the southern part, the eastern part, the eastern part, the western part, and you have the central people, and then you have Bangkok people. The Bangkok food, northern food, northeastern food, western food, eastern food, and southern food. And these all influenced by the neighboring country and the geography. Geography, that means, they have this, the northern part, they have the mountain. The central and the western part here, they have fruit, vegetable. And then you go down here, you have seafood. And they have high mountain. You have different vegetation. So depend on what kind. Excuse me. Depend on what kind of the vegetation, the food is different. The northern food, the southern food, they're all different. But sometimes they do sometimes the same sometimes, but they're all different. They will put different ingredient in there. But sometimes you see papaya, you see this and that, but a lot more things that they put it in is different that define them where the food come from. And the behavior of people, you know, the tradition, the ethnics, this is another thing that make become the when you do the regional food. And then the religions. If every, you know, Thailand have the the religion that have its own food, the tradition, what to do. But mostly the food it come from the traditions and the geography that define Thai food. Just remember, Thai food have cuisine north, east, south, west, northeastern, central, and Bangkok. Okay, we have 77 province and one special district is in Bangkok, and 6 region. You know, those kind of thing. And then we got about almost 70 million people in Thailand. So the establishment of Thai food. Let me have some water. Usually it come from the tradition and custom in each area because if you are, you know, Thai and you are Thai monk, you have the own traditions and you have the own food, you know. And if you have your ancestor is Cambodia, you know, it's called Khmer. They have their own thing. They eat sticky rice. They eat all kind of things. I mean, sticky rice, white rice, and the food is different, depending on the vegetation and the custom, the music, everything is different. So then you got mostly the handout recipe from generation to generation to generation. Like my mother taught me how to do a lot of things. That it come from her mother, come from this is all the great grand thing. It's the tradition that keep it to you. And for me, I have those, and then I work in the food industry, and I like to cook, and I do a lot of food with alcohol, you know, something spicy, because I drink a lot, so I use that. I cook that all the time to eat with alcohol. And then when you have a large gathering of people, you know, more the people want to show off whatever they have, whatever they know, they will cook something and they bring to the party. Like a potluck, but it's most of the time the potluck you say, oh, you bring this, you better this pretty much supply whatever the ingredient they find it, they will bring it in. If they don't have it, they don't bring it. It doesn't matter because it's important to get it together and talk and have fun. So religion influence because Thailand had, you know, a lot of religion influence from the, you know, you got 4 times the month day in the months, you know, and then the full moon, the half moon, and when the Buddha become enlightened, when you know the Lent time, the off Lent, all kind of things. It's a lot of religions because the religion coming in that where the food coming in because everybody want to make the best of their knowledge of their ingredient, and they bring that to the monk, and the monk that is the highest honor of Thai people. Each time they make marriage, they want to keep the best of the best what they have. That's the difference, and then that's why you see the food that in the temple is really good because you got the good food out of it. So then another thing is the medicinal aspect of it, because the Thai food is derived from the barefoot doctor. You know, the barefoot doctor. I mean, they live in the village. They don't have car. They walk wherever they go. They collect the medicine. And in Thailand, mostly medicinal practice is herb and spice and vegetable, plant, you know, tree, those kind of things. We don't hardly do part of the animal. That's the Thai medicinal, pretty much defined. Root, leaf, you know, seed, all kind of things, but not animal products. So because Thai have abundance of fresh ingredient, you name it, animal, oceans, mountain, plantation, rice fields, all these kind of ingredients. All year long you have fresh vegetable and fruit and all different kind of ingredient. When you go to, herbs, spice, you go into the forest that is there. And now people propagate them, all kind of things. So every household in Thailand, you will see they have lemongrass, galanga, all those basic things around the house. And you can go find in the market very cheap. And then the cooking skill, this is another hand-on from family, from working in the industry, that kind of thing, and then you develop to where something that you're comfortable with and you use with it. And in my class, that's what I'm going to hand out to you to do, how I do them and how be successful with it. And simple and easy, but you have to have the knowledge to do them a little bit. That's why I'm encourage you to go through the series of my presentation. You will learn a lot more. Okay? And Thai people love to eat. They will eat anything. You name it. If they don't like it, they do 1 bite, 2 bite. And politely, they not spit it out. They try to swallow it if they don't like it. So that's why the establishment of Thai food is very, very solid and fundamental. And myths about Thai food. Thai food, when you go to a restaurant and you see the table and you see the chopstick seated on the table, and they call it Thai food. What do you think? So you most likely get Chinese food or other thing else, because Thai food, they will use the chopstick when they eat noodle. Only noodle that they eat with chopstick. And you have the chopstick set it on the table. That means most likely the cook or that restaurant, most likely the Chinese people. They sell Thai food, but the Chinese style. We will go to that in the other lecture. And then fork and spoon. Thai people eat with forks. Thai people eat with spoon. They use the fork to push the food into the spoon and eat with the spoon. And if you go to a restaurant and they set the Thai food and a knife, you pretty damn sure you got a white people food, and they call Thai food, because Thai people doesn't use knife. Because the knife, all the food, Thai food is a bite size already. They cut it for you to bite size. You don't have to use the knife to cut it. And then if the worded one that you do the salt and pepper shaker. Salt and pepper shaker. This is a real white boy food, because we don't use salt and pepper to perfecting your food. Everything is balanced already, Thai food. So that means if I say salt and pepper shaker, I walk out. I say, no, I'm not going to get Thai food. And you say Thai food. You have a beautiful name in Thai, but you're not going to serve Thai food. I be pretty guarantee on that. And then the hot tea. Hot tea is a Chinese food. Chinese like to eat their food with hot tea. And similar to the Indian like to eat hot water with the milk. So you don't do that with Thai food, because you're chopping up your palate, because either you use the cold water or any alcohol to drink with, wine or something like, and something it doesn't have flavor in the water. And then the iced tea and iced coffee, if you're in Thailand, is sickening sweet. In here, some of them do sickening sweet because they use condensed milk plus sugar. And that is for the energy drink for Thai people in around noon or lunchtime. Around lunchtime, around noon, after milk, not with milk. Because the minute you eat with milk, we're going to change your palate. You can't taste anything. You will taste the tea or coffee, and the food tastes like shit. So don't do that with them. If now, because I created the Bangkok people, they don't do too sweet of that. They use a little bit, they use sugar, and then they use condensed milk, half and half, and less sugar. So you still be able to do with your meal, but more likely not. That the people, you do the same thing, really easy for lunch, after lunch to boost up your energy. And then spiciness and stinky, it depends on what you order and who cooking and how do you prepare food. If you cook fish with skin, of course it always stinks. If you use the fermented fish, they call para, it will stink. So it depends. You have to know how to do it. But in my class, because I don't eat those things, so I do Bangkok food. We don't do stinky food. Okay. And then the sugar content, every Thai dish has sugar. It's not a cup, it's a teaspoon or a pinch. That's for balancing the taste. Thai food have to balancing the taste. Just put this, put that. Oh, one sugar, 1 teaspoon sugar, 2 teaspoons fish sauce. You still have to taste. That when you taste, you will call the balancing the taste because you want what the taste look like simultaneously affects what it tastes like, And then you have you say, oh, I can't find the ingredient. So now you can buy it online everywhere. So many places selling it. But you have to know what kind of ingredient you want to buy. In my case, I tell the brand, I tell what to buy. Thing that don't want to buy because it doesn't go with Thai food. So like coconut. If you say, oh, I have coconut milk, but when you really lead to it, oh, that's to make the dessert. That means they already add the sugar, they already add salt in it. So then you try to cook your Thai food and then become awful. So difficult to cook. If you went to 1 or 2 of my class, you will have the total command of, because what I do, my card format is, this is not a Zoom card, it's a regular card. I do the demo, explain all the ingredients and do the demo. You taste my food, and then I open up your palate to make sure this is what you see it. I put this one in there, put sugar, I put salt, put it. And then this is a simultaneous effect. The taste could be sour, sweet, salty, buttery, and lingering. That is simultaneously effect. I train my students to detect all this. That is how you do the food. Because if you cannot do that, then whatever you put in there, oh, Thai food is good. How good is it? Can you explain? Did you taste anything? You detect anything? What is outstanding? You have to be able to explain. All my students know how to explain at the end of the card, at the end of my class, because in my formal class, it's 4 days, 4 hours. You have to do presentation here, and then you do the date. I cook, demo, you taste my food, you see how the thing works, you smell, you taste it, and then you go into the group. You duplicate what I do. I give you the ingredient already prepped. You do what you do. You do repeat of what I did, and then I go around to assist it. And then if you go shut the runway, like the too sour, I teach you how to bring it back, balancing it back to the okay. If you overshot the runway with spicy, what do? You cook in curry, you put the butter in there. Add more butter in there. So it will bring it out. It subside your spicy. And if you do sour, what are you going to do? So if you do stir fry, if you do soup, that kind of thing, you have to learn it. And then in my class, each class, we have 4 different dishes, 4 fundamental to it. Soup, salad, salt, and curry. Soup, salad, not salt. Soup, you got soup, salad, stir fry, and curry. four of these techniques into every time we be in my class, because whatever we do, we change recipe, constantly change recipe every time I rotate it. So you will experience that. And if you take 2 times, 2 class, 3 class, you will get more techniques of how to do stir fry, what kind of stir fry, how you prep vegetable, because it's at the engineer, when you prep vegetable, engineering, when we do engineering, we talk about surface area. So when you talk about surface area, when you cook, so if you have vegetable topical like for example, eggplant. If you do the eggplant, if you chop slice, so you have the thick skin and you have a lot of surface area on both sides of the meat. I mean, you cook it falling apart. So how do you do to prevent them from not falling apart? And how long you have to cook? So you have to cut it different way. So we will be, cooking technique and all those things. When I teach, I give it everything. I don't hold back. I want to make sure that people know how to do them and be successful with it. Because Thai food, if you stick with it, you don't get sick. People like me, I don't get sick. I eat good food. I always eat medicinal food, which is healing, preventing, from getting sick. So anyway, another thing that they talk about the condiment. In my restaurant, there are people call, oh, can I have more soy sauce? I say, what do you want the soy sauce for? The food is already balanced. But they put the soy sauce in the rice. I mean, they've been eating Chinese food for a long time. Everything is salt. No, soy sauce. Don't get a thing. So you say, I have to tell them, no, you don't eat anything. That the rice supposed to be plain. And you will be more appreciative of the food in front of you, whatever you eat, because the light will help neutralize, get ready for you to do the next bite. The Thai condiment, when people say, oh yeah, what Thai condiment? Then fish sauce and sugar. No. You have fish sauce and chili. That's what it is. You have chili in there, you have fish sauce, you have lamb and lemon and sugar. That's the full taste in there within itself. And if you talk about soy sauce, we don't do soy sauce for your condiment. We don't do salt, we don't do Symbolic, Tabasco, balsamic. Fish oil, the worst. People say, oh, can I have some fish oil? We don't do fish oil in the cooking. That's what I always tell my people that ask that. No, we don't do fish oil. We do fish sauce. So this is another vegetarian. If you live in America and you're selling food, we have all the same complaining, especially the Thai food. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. Oh, I'm a vegan. You will see that all the time. And then when you try to start to take the order, they say, oh yeah, I eat it, I don't eat that, or I'm a vegetarian. And then I say, okay. In Thai vegetarian, Thai vegetarian is derived from Buddha, Buddhism doctrine, occasionally practice and no flesh present, but had animal product, like they use fish sauce, they use oyster sauce to stir fry vegetable, and they still call vegetarian because it doesn't have meat on it. So just to be understand, Thai vegetarian, if you're strictly vegan, you have to add them no fish sauce. So then they will cook with the soy sauce. So if you are really vegan, it in Thai cuisine, I do several days, but I don't do them that much. I don't have a lot of vegetarian vegan people come by a lot, but when they come, then we cook them, but we have to separate everything else, and most of the restaurant if they're not specialized in vegan, they didn't really want to do it because you have to separate the plate, you got to, the cutting board and everything. You have to prep for you. You have to, it become too much work for us, for just for one or two people, those kind of thing. And then finally die out. A lot of people say, oh no, we don't do vegan. Vegetarian, we can do it, but you have to explain to vegetarian. Thai vegetarian have animal product. Or we don't have meat product, but usually fish sauce and oyster sauce, pretty much. And some people do take it. Some people, didn't want it. And okay, then we can sell it to you because we don't want you to come back and complain to us. Oh, it smells fishy. Those kind of thing. You got to tell them exactly what you want when you do vegetarian. Because the Thai vegetarian, we use fish sauce. So the influence in the vegetarian, it comes from religion, and then a belief. People believe that it's a big thing. And then necessity, that's another big thing that people cannot eat shellfish, cannot eat meat, don't want to eat that. And then health issue, lifestyle, and then the me vegetarian, that's the word one I get. And I have several of the me vegetarian because I don't eat that, I don't know. Can you don't put this, you don't put that. You go, oh my God, here we go. I can't cook for you, sorry. So the me vegetarian, the more complicated because they keep on doing this. Oh, this, I don't like this. How can you cook this? It becomes too much. I think they should stay home and cooking themselves, because the me vegetarian is, every restaurant against it because they don't want it. Just one person, they complain too much. Who needs it? So we want to sell food to people who really like it. Just me vegetarian, that's sad. So we talk about it, vegetarianism a little bit. The vegetarian really come from the, the yogi. They call yogi, the holy people in India, that they don't do anything else, sit and meditate. That's all they eat, fruit, nut, and seed. Sometimes with honey. So they don't use the energy. So they can get by, but you see them, they never get fat. So they were skinny and nice and beautiful looking, but you can't do that. You have to work, you got to walk, you got to go buy things. So you have to move. So you need energy. Then you have the Jain vegetarian. Then the Jain vegetarian, oh yeah, I add dairy. I eat the same thing, they eat the fruit, nut, but they add dairy. So then the name changed. So I become Jain vegetarian. Then the next group comes and say, oh no, I cannot eat dairy. So then I add root vegetable so I can eat more. So they have now fruit, nut, root vegetable. Now that the vegan people, that is supposed to do. And that is supposed to be popular that way. But if when you're talking about a lot of vegan that I encounter with, they don't eat root vegetable either. They just eat only vegetable. Yeah, and fruit and nut, those kind of thing. That is another complication again. And then the next group comes, they go vegan, then they add egg in there. Egg is okay, and some say okay, some is not, that those kind of thing. And then the next group comes, they say, oh, I don't want egg, I want the dairy. Then you become lactose vegetarian. So what is it now? So then, they go back to eat egg, but don't eat dairy. They become all vegetarian. Now they eat both and egg, they come all lactose vegetarian. So now they want to eat seafood. Now they have another name of the seafood, they call pescetarianism. So then, if they don't eat seafood because they have allergy to it, they add chicken in there, they call pollo vegetarian. What does that mean? So then if they eat pollo, then they eat seafood, they call pollo pescetarian. If you, they call something else that they have another name on it. So what happened? It happened people find a way to eat that all it is and to look good. They have something to talk about it. Just eat everything that come across you. Everything is good. But it's something you don't like, you don't eat that all it was. It's all about. Vegetarian is good, but you need meat. For me, I eat chicken. I don't eat beef. I don't eat lamb, but I eat chicken, I eat seafood, everything else, but not exotic animal. So the containment in Thai cuisine, containment in Thai cuisine Thai cuisine is have loyal cuisine. The loyal cuisine is really, really difficult to cook because everything have to carve, everything have to recite. It take a long time. You can maintain the vegetable. It become the word nightmare labor intensive. And the food is sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not because the vegetable cannot hold integrity. When you cook, it go so fast, the beauty it disappear. Like me, you eat the beauty, you pay outrageous money, and nothing special for me. Look good, that's all it is. And then you have classical Thai cooking. This pretty much a lot of home cook. Everybody know classical Thai cooking because like people like me, I do classical Thai cooking, and I do Bangkok food. And we go to that a little bit, and then you have a lot of Chinese people that have the business. Then they cook Chinese Thai food, like pad see ew, all the pad Thai, those kind of, the Chinese dish, and they add more spice, they add more herb in that. That is Chinese fusion. We call them as Chinese Thai food. And then you have street food. Street food, it means you can do one thing good and one thing only, and you sell everything everywhere. Like you do pad Thai only, you put pad see ew only, you do it. Some street food have, only one dish only, unless you have a store, then they have 2-3 dishes in one place. So, but pretty much not intensive, a whole bunch of menu like that, no. And then the fusion Thai is all kind of, the Italian fusion, Mexican fusion now, you got Chinese fusion, German fusion, all kinds of things that have, the fundamental from that country and Thai ingredient. So the Bangkok food is we take the best of the best from every part in the world or every part in Thailand. Like you make some tam. A lot of Bangkok people doesn't eat rotten fish. So we instead of that, we take that thing out, we add more flavor in there, then we add a lot more peanut in there to, taste a little bit more because the Bangkok food is more, you take the bed of the bed and they change it to where they can eat. And sometimes the ingredient is rare from some part of Thailand, so then we don't use them, then we change for something. But Bangkok food have to be balanced and simultaneously have lingering taste and best quality. We concentrate on quality. Like you buy the shrimp is $5 a pound, at this size, this trip, they're willing to pay $10 a pound for that particular thing, good quality. That's the Bangkok food is all about, the quality and integrity of. So the spiciness that a lot of people, Thai food is too spicy. It depends on which part you come from. We go to the next one. But in general, if you know Mexican food, it's very spicy. But it's go like this. Like spicy, when you put it in your mouth, it go, boom. And then they stay a little bit, and then, disappear. you know, the spike, you know, intensity that go fast, boom, and then disappear, and doesn't have lingering, you know, doesn't stay. It disappear. And then you have the Korean. Korean is slowly coming up, you know, chup, 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 it's spicy. And then boom, it will stay. Ooh, and then disappear. But it as spicy as Mexican food, but it's creeping up and stay longer. And no lingering, the same thing. And then you have the Indian. The Indian, it creep up the same thing, but it's not too spicy and no lingering. But most of the time when you talk about Indian spice, it has some smell because they use the herb to mix with it. So that's why most Thai people doesn't like that much Indian food, because it will be too intense for us in terms of smell. So then you have the Western, you know, the Western spice, like a white people spice, you know, it kind of mild, you know, like a paprika. That's what that spice is. And then we talk about the Thai spice there. Oh wow, that's what you talk about spice. It's totally different. Of course, paprika we don't call that the spice. So we call it something else. I don't know what to tell you. It's nasty anyway. And then you have the Thai. The Thai is have variety of spiciness. It depends on the chili. The red chili, the green chili, you know, or the purple chili, the small chili, you know, like a picky, you know, the longer chili, picks one, all these kind of things. They are different, and intensity is different. But everything it creep up, boom, 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 very smooth, go up, and then when it lead the plateau, it stay long, it's longer length, and then slowly creeping down, 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 down. And after the finish the intensity of spice, it still stay on your throat like here. That called lingering. It's linger in there good 10, 20, 30 minutes, depends how much you consume. So that's why we characterize all the brown people, the white people, and the other people. So how intensity is going to be look like. So this is what it look like. If you have a Thai taste bud, you know, and American taste bud, this is for example. The non-spicy Thai taste bud is already one chili. The American non-spicy, that means no chili at all. Then you have the mild in Thai, you got two chili. The mild in American, the white people, like you got half. Then the medium one, you got 3 times spicy than the American side, you know. Then if you have spicy, that American only 2, we are 2 degrees of chili. This is already 4 degrees of chili. Now you get damn spicy. In Thai, like a handful, you know. In American, it's 3, you know, intensity of 3, you know. Be careful what you order. When you order to a restaurant, you say, oh yeah, how spicy you want. In my restaurant, that was up spicy. We will ask them how spicy you want. American spice or Thai spice. But most likely they will stick American spice, mild or half chili. Pretty much. Then other folk that come from every part of the world, but you have to understand this. This is Bangkok food. Bangkok people doesn't eat spicy food. They eat mild, you know, but at least some spice. And then you go central. Central is around Bangkok. You know, the heat beginning to creeping up, you know, either 1 chili or 2 chili, 2 degrees up, 1.5 and 2 degrees up. And then you go to east of the west, that's about 2 degrees. Then when you go to northeastern, between the north and east, and then you go northeastern, they go toward Laotian. So the people eat spicy food. If your stomach not good, don't do it, because you get the diarrhea because it's too spicy. And if you really, really want spicy, That not northern. No, I mean no. Let me start again. The western the same. The east and the west pretty much the same. The northern is spicy. Then the northeastern, much spicy in the north because the northern part, because the influence from Burma. Burma is mild food than that. Then the Laotian. The Laotian is spicy food. So the northeastern is more spicy. Then when you go to the south is the spiciest food. Even the Bangkok people can't handle. Once in a while we eat them, but it's not constantly. Every time we eat them, you got a good run because it's too spicy. We have to order something that's not too spicy. And they don't tone it down for you either. That they like to maintain the character of what it is. The same with every part. When you say, oh, you go to the Bangkok food, you want more food, more spice, they will give you a side dish of spice and you put it in yourself, that kind of thing. Because we cannot cook it in there because a lot of people don't like to do that because other people cannot share your dish if too spicy. Anyway, awareness of Thai food. Pad Thai, they are not the same. You see Bob Buffet, if you see food of Bob Buffet or Martha Stewart or Gordon Ramsay or Jet Taylor, this is the lady guy that do the Zoom cooking demonstration. They are different because they learn it from different people, but most of them, I don't know why they call Thai, why they call Pad Thai is so totally different. So anyway, you see all these, you find all these films, you say, oh wow, isn't that great? But when the Thai people see that, oh no, we don't put soy sauce in Pad Thai, excuse me, that kind of thing. So I think if you see Gordon Ramsay do Pad Thai at one of the restaurants in London, you will see that's so funny because the Thai people, the chef was looking at it and okay, what the hell are you doing? And you still call Pad Thai, and that's not Pad Thai. Okay. Anyway, that is not just Pad Thai, that they have in Thailand, but this is the Pad Thai that all the foreigners, because it's popular, the foreigners try to cook them. And they come up with all kind of, scenario to do the Pad Thai. That's why the Pad Thai are not the same. But if you have the good Pad Thai, they maintain the characteristic. The characteristic is sour, sweet. Not sweet and sour either, sour, sweet. And you see all these people cook, they are probably salty, leading, those kind of thing. When you look at it, I say, oh my God, why the hell do you call Pad Thai? So anyway. Now we're going to go to the ingredient. The ingredient is the key because it affects the flavor and the look. Because the way you use them, in my class we explain to all that because the ingredient very, very important. So, and then the cooking technique. So the cooking technique is, it reflects texture and taste. The texture? Because sometimes you use the vegetable, you have to know which one to go in first, which one to go in last, like a soft vegetable and hard vegetable. And then you're balancing the taste. When do you balance it? When you start your dish, like you fry the garlic, what color are you looking for before you put meat or put anything else in there? So it's a lot more technique. If you go to my cooking class, cooking demo, you will see I will explain pretty clear what color you do things, you do this, you do that. Step in sequential. It creates the texture and the taste within itself. Okay, and then you balance it, and then that way it makes the taste perfect. So the expensive and cheap ingredients are irrelevant in Thai food because the Thai food you can cook, you can make it chili cut of meat, you know, and they cook it until it's falling apart, and then they make the soup out of it. You know, it blew you away because it's a lot of things. You don't need to have the fancy ingredient in Thai food. That's why it saves you a lot of money if you eat Thai food a lot, you know. And then the temperature versus time, that it dictates the quality of your food. You know, the temperature, sometimes people, it's engineering wise, they say it temperature, it, the heat, it's a relationship of the temperature, and the time. If you do the temperature at 150 degrees, another 250 Fahrenheit, right? And you cook for 5 minutes, your thing doesn't cook. If you cook for 10, 15 minutes, it didn't cook. If you cook longer than that your time longer, it burns. That is very important. The temperature and time is how long you're going to cook, at what temperature. Because if you cook more than that, you're going to burn. Cook less than that, you're not cook. It's very, very important. In my cooking kind of emphasis on it. In one of these lectures, I have that too. So, and the procurement is save the great money for you. How to, when you buy the ingredient, which way you're going to keep it for a week or 2 weeks or sometimes months. So in my cooking class, I pretty much talk about it. But in my lecture, I have one of the printout. You can one of the chart, you can see it. That how you put, like for example, like ginger, ginger root, fresh ginger. So most of the time people, oh yeah, you just wrap in vacuum seal and blah blah blah. For us, this is the way I do them. I found it very, very effective. What you do, you have the container, put the water in there, and you clean your ginger real good, no dirt, no that, and put in there. Make sure the water cover the ginger, and cover it, and put your refrigerator. It will be there for months. You take it out, it still tastes good. But you have to change the water every week. When water start getting murky, then you change the water, make it water clear. You keep that for months. In the restaurant, we do that because we have to use all these. We just buy them one pack, whole bottle all the time, and then we use some, we keep them. Put it in a temperature. As long as it's in the container with the lid, it will maintain the temperature. So I learned that literally from watching the TV about Chinese documentary, that they found the crop on the cemetery underneath the water, because the crop is already in the water for a long, long time. That about 2,000 years, the crop still look good in the water. And then when they take the water out, and it decomposes right away. But that same principle, if you do that, you maintain the temperature inside. So your ginger will not decompose or will not change the color. It's maintained. A minute your temperature fluctuation, that's what you start seeing the color change. If you put in there, forget about it, just drop it in there when you want to use it, pull it out. Just change water every week. That is, that all it is procurement. If you, in my class, it's a lot of technique to do all the digital restaurant, using it in my preference, the way I figure it out. And Thai food has expectation, that. We, not just, we put this, we put that. The recipe say 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon sea salt, you use a pinch of herb, you do, and you put everything, blah, blah, blah. And they don't tell you when to put it in. You just throw that, okay. And then cook, and then, it's done. You turn it off, and then you try to taste. What it tastes like, you have no idea what are you doing. You just follow that, relying on that amount that they give it to you. But those amount, you have to understand that the ingredient is changed. Even though the ginger, ginger this year and ginger next year or last year is different. Because intensity is different, the quality is different, the taste is different. Same the product and like fish sauce. Some bad is saltier, some bad is sweeter. It depends on what they do. Because it depends on the ingredient. Like sometimes, this year this fish is not, it's smaller size, it's not that much. You add more, fish into the system, and then that is changing integrity of the, the solution. Is more saltier, more this, more flavor. It's all relevant. It changed. Everything is changed. That's why in my class you use your tongue, your palate to do the measurement. I give you a rough estimation to do this at this amount. But then when you put it in there, you're going to use your tongue to taste it. What are you detecting? You think you put sweet, it's sweet enough. When you have salt, you have sour, you have buttery, it is sweet enough, those kind of thing. Then use your tongue. But more likely, when they do my class 2-3 times, then they light on it. Every time they do, they put it there. When you have it in your head, okay, this intensity of sugar amount that much of the sweet, but you have to take encounter with a lot of more ingredient, and then you put them on estimation like this much, that much, that much, and then if you think you need salt, you put salt in there. You think you need sugar, you put sugar in there. If you overshot the runway, what will you do? So I have a flow chart for all my students. If you too salty, what you do, those kind of things. So be aware with it. Thai food had expectation. So another thing is this is the CDC, the US. So the basic food handling. So the same thing, you take the food from the grocery store, you get to wash them and dry them. And then if you buy, you have to supplement the meat. This is in the picture. You see they put everything they pile. You don't put meat, touch the vegetable, period. All the things, we supplement everything out. We even the cut or those kind of thing. If you cut vegetable, you wash. You cut the meat, you have to wash those kind of thing with the soap. Vegetable, you just rinse it, go by. And then if you do the meat, you have to rinse with soap, and then wash with soap and dry them. Not with towel, air dry. That is air dry, okay? And then all these sauces, that kind of thing, before you cook, you have to take it out and wash it the best, because all these sauces have, when they're packing, they have to put in some solution to preventing from mold. Sometimes they do bathe with salt, sometimes they bathe with salt, add some chemical in there to prevent it. So just be careful, we should wash them. So, and then the cook time that they're talking about, inside temperature. Like you cook the chicken, you stuck the thing in there in the middle of the chicken. The thermometer in the middle of the chicken and check 165. So if you have a small little piece like a Thai cooking, you don't have to bother with that, because you can't measure it, because you have to go at least 1/4 inch, but the meat is about 2/4. What are you measuring? So you can't measure anything, and you cannot touch it on the surface either. So that doesn't mean measure anything. And a lot of people that I dealing with some restaurant that I went to help them out, set up, or the health department people, all those kind of things. So I always challenge them to all these kind of meat, because when they do, when they train is American food. When they talk Asian food, Thai food, they don't know. So I have to educate them and then challenge them. And then usually I won, because they have no way, because I know as much they know. So because I teach class, so I have to know. And then I had a restaurant, and I've been to all this training. So anyway, and then you have to show the food. Most of the time, when you cook something, you finish, You don't leave it out on the table for hours. Then you get food poisoning, those kind of things. Just if you can put in the refrigerator, you put refrigerator. You know, if your food is hot, you keep it warm. So in my cooking class, we tell that how to do that. So up today is the COVID. How you to protect yourself? You know, that's what I want to give it to you guys, because I just did the COVID, you know, how to protect yourself COVID with Thai food. So I have the video on that. If you go to my site or go to my Facebook or go to YouTube, search classical Thai cooking by Chef Panto, you will see that video. It's talking about the COVID and Thai medicinal, why it worked to fight the COVID. Okay, and that's what COVID is about, hot food. You don't want to eat any cold food or something like I hold on sushi for almost 7 months, 8 months now. I didn't eat sushi. Usually I like to eat sushi, but I say it's not the time. Right now you got to eat something hot to where at least put in your mouth. If your mouth have some, you know, virus, is to eat it up a little bit, or you have something hot food will help instead of cold food, you know. And then the middle spoon, because the Thai food serve family style. If we use that spoon to take the food from the big pot and put it in that plate, and then put it back, and don't eat with that spoon, because everybody have to use that spoon and doing the same thing, you know. In American, you have your own plate, blah blah blah. In Thailand, we go to do, you know, the family style. So that you need the middle spoon in order to prevent from contamination. So, and washing hand, again, most of the time, people, go wash hand. What they do, they go in, let the water run, put the soap in, let the water run like this, and then they dye the hand. No, you need 20 seconds. In order to wash the hand properly, 20 seconds. What you do, you run your hand with water, put the soap in there and rub. You go this way first, and then now you go this way. You go from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top, depend, like this, and then you go to thumb, like this, like that. Now you go top and the bottom, you go like this, you go like that, you go like this again, one more time. Now you rinse it out. If you do keep on rubbing that, you got 20 seconds real fast. And then you rinse it out. That's how you wash your hand properly. And use a paper towel. I don't use the, you know, I see the cloth, I see all kind of thing. Rolling cloth is the word, you don't do it. You use the paper towel, you grab it, wash it and throw it away. This way is safer. And then you got to wear the mask. Everywhere you go, you wear the mask. You know, you think, oh yeah, I don't care. But other people else care because they don't want you to kill them, you know, and they don't want to kill you if they have it. Just wear your mask. It's the proper way to, lately nowadays, this is the key to prevent the virus spread is wearing the mask. In Thailand, everybody wear them. And here in California, around my area, everybody wear them. We are afraid to die for no reason, die because of somebody, you know, arrogant or somebody stubborn. It's not worth it, you know. We should wear. And then you keep 6 feet distance and exercise. So most of the people exercise right now because you stay home all day, you do like this. Oh, that's good. Oh, give more. That's how exercise. No, you have to go out and walk and do something. And eat healthy food. That was my last lecture about it. This is why the Thai food is healthy. You see that the picture that you see it here? This is in one bite. You got a lot of medicinal, a lot of things going on in there. If you go to that that video, you will see how I explain it. That's the healthy food. That is really healthy food. That why it works. And then the personal antiseptic. This is what I have. That I have this in the car. Before I get in, when I get in the car, I squeeze my hand. Not when I get in. When I go after I go out. When I get out of the car, before I get out, I squeeze it in my hand. I rub with my hand, open the door, and go. And this is the one I have it in my pocket at all times. Just in case I go to the store, I go somewhere, I touch something, and I feel, not comfortable. I take the thing out, and then I wash my hand with that constantly. And then I have an extra mask, in my car, just in case I lose it somewhere that I went out, I wear it, I take it out to do some bit. Sometimes you talk to people, or sometimes you come out of the store, you pull it out, or you take it out, but you're still not in the car, those kind of thing. So sometimes you just call, answer your phone, take the thing, leave everything there, and then when you walk and leave everything there, I forgot my mask. So then I have my spare in my car. And then get the taste. The taste is very easy, take about less than a second, but the time is to do it, to check it out where the place is, the center to taking the test, and go there and take a test. But don't go every day taking the test. That is paranoid, because they can do or give you a result if the good place in Thailand, some place they got 3 hours, some place they got a day. But here in the U.S., you get the whole. I took it in around this area. I went to the friend place in Point Arena. It takes a week for you to get the result. So, what's the point? If you take every day, not good. So you're wasting money, wasting time, wasting everything else. So just once a week, or when you have 14 days, you go out, you do something, you come back in, you're not comfortable, then you go taking the test. Or if you start getting difficulty to breathe, or cough, or some severe thing, if you go to that the lecture that I'm talking about, the virus, the coronavirus with the Thai medicinal, so you will see I explain pretty good on that, because I got more time on that presentation. Okay, and then the next section is going to be, the general knowledge in Thai culinary. That is now go into more in depth about Thai cooking. And if you have inquiry, you can go to my website, www.thaiascent.com, and shoot me the email or send me an inquiry. Or if you don't want to do that, just go to chefpan@thaiascent.com or chefpan@sonic.net. Usually I answer email early in the morning, because I stay up late every night. So for upcoming hand-on cooking class via Zoom, because all this series of presentation I'm setting up for people who are going to take my cooking class via Zoom. I don't care where you now. I don't care where you are in the world. You still can take that class if you understand my English. I promise I'm not going to talk English to you. I will speak English like this to you. So I will announce on the website, on the YouTube, and on the Facebook. And if for you to sign up, I will try. Mostly my class, because it's a hand-on via Zoom. Think about it. We're gonna have a lot to do, a lot of things, and then when we do cooking, so I be able to see what you do, and I can zoom in to see what the quality of your food is. I can tell, I can dictate based on that, but you have to see what I do, how I do it, and what it tastes like. It's like a cooking demonstration, but in depth, not just putting that and doing some kind of talk, but this is fundamental. You will learn, you will see how the thing evolve and come out with good food. Because I will rely on your palate. If you give me the true feedback, I will give you the true feedback back to you, because I have to go around everybody do analysis of your dish, and then if I don't think it right, I will teach you how to correct it on the Zoom. So this way you learn pretty much hand-on, because you see it. I can't smell it, but I can see it. I can tell it right away what it went wrong or how you do it right. Okay, and for all these presentation, it will be on my website under cooking tab, so you will see that, and then a lot more information in there. And if you like traveling, I have the traveling blog on my site too. Click on it, you will see a lot of things very interesting, because I travel, I go by months, 2 months, 3 months, and I pick 3 countries. Like I go to, Libya. I am not Libya. I go to Peru. Then I go to Peru, Bolivia, and then I end up in Argentina and fly back from Argentina. So, and I tell the story, I write story, take picture based on my experience and how I deal with the difficulty when I travel. It's fun. It's pretty much funny story anyway. And here is something about me if you missed to who am I. And thank you for listening to my presentation. Hopefully you learned something. If you learn a lot, just give me, just write a comment. If you have a question, just like comment under the video. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully to see you in the next sessions. ขอบคุณครับ